Hi everyone, in today's video, I'm talking about healthy eating basics for beginners. So Nutrition 101, I want to cover all the fundamentals when it comes to healthy eating. If you're just getting started, if you're feeling like a bit bloated, if you want to kind of start eating healthier but don't know where to get started, this video is for you. I want to talk about where to begin. I know that sometimes you're told eat healthier, but what does that actually mean and where do you start, right? So this is the video where I'm going to talk about all these different things but in simple terms and just where to start. On the screen, you're going to find the chapters for this video, and on my channel, you're going to find quick and easy healthy recipes and self-development content and guided meditation recordings. So basically, if you want to upgrade yourself, your life, your health, then this is the space for you. First up is I want to talk about what a healthy balanced plate should look like. So here I'm just going to talk about the general overview of, let's say, the macronutrients, okay? So the recommendation generally, if you can imagine a plate, okay, in front of you for your meal, you want half of that plate to be fruits and vegetables, okay? So your dark leafy greens, your spinach, your kale, your all of that family and vegetables and fruits. And then a quarter of that plate would be your protein, whether it's plant protein or animal protein. So you've got your beans, your lentils, tofu, tempeh, or any of the other animal products like chicken, fish, or meat. And then the final part of the plate, which is the last quarter, you want to focus on your carbs, let's say. It could be any of your whole grains like brown rice or quinoa or whole grain pasta or your starchy vegetables. So you've got like your potato, sweet potato. And then on top of that, you can add some nuts and seeds. Ideally, that's what your plate should look like. With that, you've got your macronutrients, let's say, you've got your protein, you've got your carbs, and you've got your healthy fats. This healthy plate can be in the form of rice and stew, it can be a form in a salad, it can be a soup. There can be so many different variations of how to build a healthy meal. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get all of it in every single meal. You're not looking for perfection. This is just to give you an idea of what a plate, a healthy meal constitutes, a complete balanced meal, right? Second up is micronutrients and diversity of the ingredients. So micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants that you will find in different ingredients, right? So every ingredient has a different composition of their micronutrients. How can you get what you need from all of these kind of foods? Ideally, you're going to want to eat different kinds of foods, right? So the recommendation is to try to hit a minimum of 30 different ingredients every single week, right? Which is really not a lot if you're just aware of it and you're conscious of it. What does that mean? So what does that look like? So ideally, you don't want to just only eat apples. You want to eat an apple, you want to eat a banana, you want to eat watermelon, you want to eat blueberries, right? The idea here is to be able to eat the rainbow, the different colors of foods and ingredients, because each one has different nutrients and micronutrients. If you want to, a simple way of keeping that in mind, without getting too technical and into too much detail, just try to eat different foods. So when you're eating foods from your fruits and vegetables and beans and lentils and whole grains and nuts and seeds, then really you are going to be able to get different kind of nutrients organically and naturally from your food. It's recommended to see your GP once a year or once every 2 years to do your blood work, to do your annual blood work, to check that, to check your vitamin D, your iron, your zinc, just to make sure that you don't have any deficiencies. And then from that appointment, usually the doctor will let you know if everything's okay. If you don't need to take any supplements for a certain period of time, if you're good to go, then they will tell you if you need to come after a year or after 2 years just to check in and redo your tests. But ideally, you want to be able to eat the diversity of ingredients and then just check with your doctor every, whenever the recommendation is. If there are certain things that you're deficient in, then you will be recommended certain supplementation. And after a certain period of time, they might ask you to redo the test to make sure that you are within the healthy bracket. But if, for example, you're somebody who constantly experiences certain deficiencies, then you can also take it one level up and start to understand, if I am constantly having iron deficiencies, what are foods that are rich in iron? Then you can kind of make sure, put a bit more effort to incorporate iron-rich foods, or what foods can, that is recommended to be consumed with iron, like vitamin C, for you to be able to absorb iron better in your body. What are some things that you should try to avoid with meals when you're consuming iron-rich foods that might stop you from absorbing the iron, like for example, caffeine, coffees and teas. It's recommended to give keep an hour gap between those. So you don't need to know these things at this point if you're getting started. The idea is you will build your way up slowly as and when is necessary for you to know this stuff. Third up is understanding whole foods and what are ultra-processed foods. What are whole foods? Whole foods are ingredients that come in their whole form. So meaning that basically you want to be able to consume ingredients in their most optimal form, ideally, so that you can reap the benefits that they contain, versus those ingredients being processed and you've got a lot of the fiber or nutrients extracted from them, so you're not getting the maximum benefits. So in simple terms, I'll give you an example. Let's talk about orange and orange juice. Orange is a whole food because you're eating it in its whole form with the skin and with the fiber and all the nutrients intact. When you blend or when you squeeze orange to make orange juice, you have removed most of the fiber and you have also with that removed some of the nutrients. Therefore, you are left with, for example, less benefits and more sugar content, etc. So the pros, the benefit of that ingredient now is no longer, for example, the pros may still outweigh the cons, or maybe not, or are equal, or maybe there's more cons to consuming that ingredient than pros, right? Dr. Michael Greger puts it in a perfect way, but basically he explains it in a sense that any ingredient, you ideally want to consume something that hasn't had anything good extracted from it and nothing bad added to it. Okay, so I'm going to give you as another example of, for example, French fries, potatoes. Having a potato, roasted potato with its skin, is it's in a whole form. You're consuming it with all of its nutrients, right? You're getting all the benefits, the fiber, the nutrients. It's very filling, etc. However, when you're having French fries, you have peeled the skin, so you've removed some of the fiber and nutrients. So you've extracted something that's health promoting from it. So you've removed that, and then you've gone on to adding other ingredients that are not necessarily considered healthy, like when you're frying it, when you're deep frying it and adding a lot of salt or any other kind of, so to your best ability, you're going to want to try to aim to consume ingredients in their whole form. You want to be able to consume brown rice instead of white rice. Now, if you're somebody who really likes to only consume white rice, then that's fine, right? But there's a difference between understanding what is ideally better to consume and where you're trying to be a bit flexible, right, in what you're consuming. So it's not about perfection and it's not about being able to do everything by the book, but it's about really differentiating and understanding what is a whole food and what is healthier than another. So I would also think of whole foods as a range. There's the super healthy and whole form, and then there's the ultra processed, and then there's everything else in between. Okay, so it's really a range, and it's always like, is this healthy? Well, it depends. Like, is this healthy compared to what? When you think about something, it really depends like what you're comparing it to, right? Now, on the flip side, so we've spoken about what whole foods are. On the flip side, I want to talk about what the ultra processed foods are. Ultra processed foods is what you ideally want to avoid. So the ultra processed is the deep fried food, the highly processed, refined ingredients like the white flour, the bread that's really processed, has a lot of oil, salt, sugar added to them, and the unhealthy chips and fast food, all of those kind of foods that are the candy. Obviously, those are the foods that you want to avoid. Now, a disclaimer, I'm just talking here in simple terms, but a disclaimer is that obviously there are healthy recipes for cookies, there are healthy recipes for chips, there are healthy recipes for candy. It does exist. I'm just talking about, generally speaking, for me to be able to kind of point out what the ultra processed is and what the whole foods are. So ultra processed, you really want to avoid as much as you can. And number 4 is finding healthier food swaps. So healthier alternative to certain ingredients that you're currently using. I know that sometimes it's a bit overwhelming or confusing as to what are the healthier swaps. So I want to eat healthier, but I don't know what the healthier alternative is. So here I want to say a few things. Well, first thing I would say is like take it one step at a time. Like try to figure out what is a healthier swap for example, sugar, and try to work your way, and getting more familiar with those healthier alternatives and trying to experiment with those healthier ingredients in your recipes and your cooking, and to try to figure out what are the healthier swaps that you like and that you enjoy, and you start to do the swaps that way. But generally speaking, everything is like literally like a few clicks away. If you're looking for healthier swaps for anything, just Google it or ChatGPT it and try to figure out what a healthier swap is and build from there. I'm going to give you an example. So what's healthier to an all-purpose flour is oat flour. What is healthier to refined sugar is sweetening your desserts with dates. What are some of the healthier oils? Are extra virgin olive oil and cold pressed avocado oil. Really, there are so many healthier alternatives out there, whether you are using it as an ingredient yourself in cooking or when you're buying packaged foods, getting a bit more familiar with them. So on this note of healthier swaps, If you're going to buy cereal, then for example, going from the ultra processed cereal and finding a product that is, for example, predominantly made with whole grains, fewer amounts of the processed ingredients, right? So that's a healthier swap. Even if it's not an ideal swap, it's okay. That's where you get started. It's like finding the healthier substitutes and building your way that way. Number 5 is your meal planning. Planning what you're going to eat for the day, for the week, having an idea. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, like the saying goes. It's true in every single sense of the word when it comes to healthy eating. If you don't have ingredients in your kitchen, in your pantry to make a healthy meal, if you're making impulse purchases, so you're hungry, you're starving, you're at work and you want to order some food, then if you don't have a plan for the restaurants that you would order from that have healthy options, or that you've prepared food for yourself, if you're having to make food choices on the spot, then the chances are it's going to be harder for you to make healthier food choices. So it's really important to have a plan, like when you wake up in the morning or the day before, like think of like, what is it that you're planning to eat that day? Are you making it? Is it things that you've made in batches and you have in the fridge or the freezer, like healthy protein bowls that you can pull out and have as a snack? Ideally, you want to be able to eat more home cooked food because they're always going to be cooked most of the time in healthier ways and you know exactly what's going in it. But also, even if you're don't have the time to cook and you're going to have to order some things or pick some things up on the way, then also being prepared to know where you're ordering from and healthy options for you. And my final tip for this video, if I'm somebody who wants to eat healthier and I'm just getting started, like where would I start? I personally would start incorporating healthier recipes. So before changing anything else in my diet, if I just want to pick one thing, like I just want to start step by step, I think I would just start looking at healthy recipes and just whether it's a snack, a meal, a salad, a soup, whatever it may be, and just start making them at home and gaining the confidence and the belief that healthy eating is delicious. I think one of the intimidations or the misconceptions is that healthy eating is boring and not delicious and not as sweet and not as yummy, and that's not true. It's all about finding the right recipes for you. So I think that's where I would start. I would start to add new recipes, healthy recipes, fall in love with them, and then start to gradually make the other changes. And that will give you the confidence, reassurance, and belief in that you're able to make healthy recipes and that healthy recipe taste good, and kind of that encouraging you to make healthier choices. If you like this video, then I only ask you to subscribe to this channel so I can keep doing what I'm doing. This space is for anybody who wants to eat healthier, feel happier, and just upgrade themselves. I've got healthy plant-based recipes, guided meditation recordings, self-development content, affirmation recordings, and so much more. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.